Bienvenidos nuevamente a la conferencia magistral de Expo Foro Virtual de Turismo Global. Hoy martes 15 damos continuidad a este excelente programa académico que hemos venido desarrollando desde ayer lunes con 1.900 registrados en la plataforma hasta el momento y con una permanente asistencia de participantes de alrededor de entre 800 y 900. Vamos viendo cómo fluctúa la plataforma, así que con una excelente cantidad de audiencia y estamos muy felices por eso. El honor que tenemos hoy de presentar quienes somos PCOs en Latinoamérica, que es mi caso, soy una fan de Ori, porque de verdad la admiro mucho, es esta conferencia magistral, Moving Virtual, presente y futuro del espacio de reuniones virtuales. Y hoy lo estamos desarrollando a través de nuestra propia plataforma virtual. Y Ori nos va a contar todas las tendencias y toda la innovación que hay en este sentido para quienes organizamos congresos y también trabajamos en la industria de reuniones y ver cómo vamos adaptándonos a estos nuevos formatos híbridos en los que vamos a tener que desarrollar nuestras actividades. Así que bienvenidos Ori Labaf. Bienvenida Ana María Vizcasillas, gracias por estar hoy con nosotros. Yo voy a presentar a nuestra moderadora de lujo, como siempre, amiga Ana María Vizcasillas, voy a pedir su CV. Ana María Vizcasillas es asesora, consultora de nuestra asociación de CVB'S Latam, es consultora internacional, presidenta, fundadora y principal visionaria de la empresa Business Tourist Services, especialista en consultoría estratégica para organismos de destinos y empresas de la industria de reuniones y turismo, siguiendo altos estándares mundiales. Como miembro de la Junta de Directores de la Professional Conference Management Association, PCMA, Ana apoya la visión global de esta prestigiosa organización en la profesionalización y sensibilización en la industria de reuniones y eventos de negocios. Es socia y actual vicepresidenta de COCAL, además de miembro del Business Recovery Task Force APEX COVID-19 del Events Industry Council. Es fiel creyente de la Asociación Latinoamericana de Bureaus, tiene unas firmes convicciones, por eso sigue trabajando junto a nosotros todos los días y nos sigue asesorando y acompañando. Y además colabora como asesora consultiva de la Asociación Latinoamericana de Bureaus. También lidera exitosos proyectos como Destination Next, Organization Next para Latinoamérica y el Caribe y colabora con la empresa MGA Next Factor como consultora ejecutiva. Pasada Past President y CEO del Buró de Convenciones de Puerto Rico, ahora Discover Puerto Rico, Ana María es uno de los pocos profesionales en Latinoamérica y el Caribe que cuenta con la prestigiosa certificación CDMA, única en el mundo para profesionales del mercado y gerencia de destinos. En 2007, reconocida por IMEX Academy Award por las Américas, Salón de la Fama, y recientemente galardonada con el Industry Achievement Award World Meeting Forum. Así que bienvenida Ana María y en tus manos queda esta conferencia plenaria.
Muchísimas gracias, Silvana, por tu gentil introducción. Le damos la bienvenida a los amigos que nos acompañan hoy y también le damos la gran bienvenida a Ori Labaf, que tenemos un lujo con este conferenciante que ya mismito les hablo un poquito de él. Antes de comenzar, queremos que sepan que Ori y esta servidora vamos a estar hablando en inglés. Si van a la plataforma del foro, pueden escoger en qué idioma quieren escuchar la sesión, español y o inglés. Si la van a escuchar en inglés, es escuchándole en vivo a nosotros dos, y si es en español, es con la traducción. Pueden navegar la plataforma y así usarlo. También les invitamos a que nos hagan preguntas. En la plataforma está la sección donde nos pueden hacer preguntas y respuestas, y nosotros con mucho gusto vamos a ir contestándolas. No se preocupen por el idioma, que aquí nos vamos encargando. Ori, it's wonderful to have you join us today. All the way from Tel Aviv in Israel. We couldn't be happier because of your commitment to the industry. So if you allow me, I will briefly speak about your wonderful professional experience quickly in Spanish, and then we get immediately into the topic of today. Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Amigos, el tema de hoy es fantástico para un profesional como Ori Labaf. Ya van a ver por qué. No solamente es vicepresidente de las operaciones y de trato a cliente del grupo Kenes en Israel, sino que en estos momentos es el presidente de IAPCO, la Asociación Internacional de PCOs. Es un conferenciante internacional y se unió al grupo Kenes en el 2013 como vicepresidente de mercadeo, con un bagaje extenso en la implementación de estrategias de mercadeo, ATL, BTL, liderando campañas digitales en línea y todo lo que tiene que ver con los medios sociales y los canales de distribución, y también había comenzado su carrera en el mundo de las comunicaciones, donde en diferentes exposiciones a mercadeo, al internet y todo lo que es las telecomunicaciones y los proveedores de esos servicios. Esto lo ha puesto en una oportunidad senior de poder implementar muchas de estas estrategias digitales. Por eso es que nos parece que es excelente su compartir en el día de hoy. Aparte de eso, también tiene un extenso bagaje en la parte de manufactura de carros eléctricos. Luego de 4 años con el grupo Kenes, está ahora en la división de la unidad de negocios de operaciones y las cuentas de los clientes. Llegó a IAPCO como miembro del concilio del grupo de IAPCO y como les comenté, es su presidente. En adición a eso, colabora incansablemente con la industria en diferentes eventos, desde PCMA y su congreso Convening Leaders, con ICA, el Event Innovation Summit, IMEX y también con IAPCO Edge. Tiene un bachillerato en estadísticas de la Universidad de Haifa y una maestría en negocios de la Universidad de Derby en el Reino Unido. Un bagaje magistral y una experiencia en este concepto de los espacios virtuales, así que honradísimos de contar con él en la mañana de hoy. Si me lo permiten, cambio al inglés y recuerden que cuando lo necesitemos vamos a estar hablando un poquito de Spanglish. Ori, that was very quick in Spanish for our audience. But I did share that your background is amazing. You have always somehow been intertwining telecommunications, digital experiences, and that brings you to a unique position with Kenes. So the topic today couldn't be better for a speaker like you, because we know virtual spaces are unique in creating experiences. Just so you know, we had over 1,900 people between yesterday and today participating, and on an average, between 800 and 900 participants, so eager for knowledge. And it will be our pleasure to hear your vision on virtual spaces. And then we will be taking care of the questions once you're done. Mr. Ori, the mic and the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. I will quickly share my screen and my presentation. I hope you can see it now perfectly.
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me. And as you mentioned, you know, the way we used to communicate has tremendously changed in the last couple of years. If many years ago, this is maybe, it depends on your age, this is how you communicated or at least played with your friends. I mean, today, the generation, even before coronavirus, this is actually the way they communicate. And I know that's also for my kids, even the fact they sit beside one another, they're still with their laptops, phones, iPads, and so forth. And the world has become much more visual, right? So I decided to do my intro in a very visual way, which is what I guess is the first international language. And I try to guess what is this language, and it is emoji. So hola, hi everyone, good morning or good afternoon, it depends where you're based. It's very nice to virtually meet you all. I'm super excited about being here and sharing my knowledge with you. And I welcome you to my session, and I truly hope that you will enjoy it and you will learn something out of it. As you heard, I come from a marketing background. This is marketing, and I had the pleasure to work in different companies in different industry. I accumulated a lot of knowledge, whether it was the telecommunication or the automotive industry. As you heard, I was involved in the startup that raised $900 million regarding electric cars. This is my family. That was a long time ago. I still have nicer hair. I live in Israel, and I live 5 minutes from the beach, which is very important, especially with lockdowns due to COVID-19. I'm a big fan of sports, especially soccer, and especially if I watch it on TV. So let's practicing more of watching on TV. As you heard, I'm the president of IAPCO and also a vice president at Kenes Group. And I quickly want to share both mission statement of both organizations because it's really relevant for our session today. The mission statement of Kenes is being the world-leading facilitators of meetings for global exchange of professional knowledge. When we say we are a facilitator, whether we are PCO or venue or convention bureau, it doesn't mean that it has to be in person. Of course, for us, in person is a crucial component, but we can also facilitate and exchange knowledge like we do now in a virtual world. And IAPCO mission statement is to raise the standard of the service among its members and other sectors of the meeting industry through continuous education. Again, this is exactly what we're doing here. We're doing in IAPCO a lot of webinars, a lot of knowledge sharing in order to raise the standards of the service of our industry and the entire ecosystem. And I hope if I look at what I'm going to share in this session, if I need to highlight three things that you take out of this session, one will be you will hear a lot of lesson learned on how to do a better virtual meeting. You will also see that I can share what I see as the future of virtual meeting, and hopefully you will also enjoy the session, which is not less important. So I'm going to take you through the journey that we had here in Kennes once we had to move virtually. And again, we had a lot of lesson learned, and we are getting better from each meeting. And just to share with you what we have learned and how to do it better. So I'll start with a short case study of a Congress we had already in the beginning of April. So just, you know, in Europe, the pandemic started around March. And this was a meeting that was scheduled to the first week of April. So a little better background about the meeting. ADPD is a meeting about Alzheimer's and Parkinson-related disease. It's a biannual meeting that attracts almost 4,000 people across, you know, international meeting, and it's a biannual meeting. In between, we started a meeting with it is more for clinician. It is called AAT ADPD, and the first edition was in 2018. It attracted 1,300 people. And the next edition was supposed to be in Vienna. This year in April, we were supposed to have around 1,800 people. That was the forecast. What happened? Of course, we were all introduced to COVID-19 in late February, beginning of March. And I think my last trip was the first week of March. And then, of course, our priority was first to postpone the meeting. Okay, we can't do it in March. We're probably going to do it in July or in August. Whoever thought that this will last so long. So we said, let's postpone. But we had another contingency plan of moving virtually. So we received the dates for November, and we started working on postponing the event, like every other event that was scheduled for that at that time. But together with the meeting chairs, we decided to be brave enough and to go completely virtual. Scientific meeting with thousands of people, with abstracts and posters and everything to go virtual. And I think this was our first reaction. Oh my God, virtual, what do I do now? I mean, how do I even handle it? And I'm 3 weeks before the Congress. We had no virtual platform at that stage, and we knew we have to record about 250 presentations. So I guess this picture you see, it's probably the team meetings of my IT department thinking, oh my God, I'm done. What am I going to do now? So of course we need to reinvent ourselves. And I think this started back then, and it's still relevant. Each one of us in our ecosystem need to reinvent ourselves. And of course, we used to work in squares maybe, but now we have to be something that is more round, something that is more agile, something that is more fast. And what do we do now? So I think what we have learned at that meeting is, first, how do you choose the right system to do a virtual meeting? We have met with hundreds of companies, technology companies. We have our own big IT team. How do you fit whatever you need, especially for a scientific and medical meeting, to your needs? And we actually realized we couldn't find one holistic solution that will provide A to Z for what we have wanted to do in the meeting. For this one, we actually took one system for the virtual platform. We took another one for the live streaming, a third one to the scientific, and on top of that, we did our own development for having a good user experience with one single sign-on. So you have to think very well about what is your need and which system can provide this solution. Even if it's more than one system, it's better than compromising. Communication plan. Moving virtually, it's not an easy step for your stakeholders. So you need to have a very clear communication plan of setting all the target audiences that you work with. What is the message? You have different messages to different target audiences, and who sends and when. So you have your sponsor, you have your exhibitors, you have your delegates, even your clients. So you must work very closely with the client, put down a communication plan with timeline, the right messages to the right target audiences. And of course, it's very difficult to have, let's say, a viable meeting without the support of the sponsor and exhibitors. And you have to think very well how to keep them on board. And I will come back to this a little bit later. So it's important to keep them on board. And for them, it's also a first experience, and you have to keep that in mind. And I think the biggest lesson learned we had in the first meeting is actually working with the speakers. Because we had in mind the idea that you're going to send a link, maybe a Zoom link to the speaker that will start recording automatically. And we say, okay, start recording your session. Share your presentation, start talking. But we quickly realized that's not going to happen. All the speakers needed a complete walkthrough. We needed to work with them hand in hand throughout their recording. So we had a big team of people that just did recording and still do recording with speakers. We now have about 15, 16 people from different teams that just doing recording with speakers, because we're recording thousands of presentations. So you join them in the beginning, you give them relax them, because some of them are really, they don't see the crowd like I don't see now. So some of them feel uncomfortable. So we have to relax them a little bit, set the tone, set the atmosphere, and let them do the recording easy. Of course, we edit it afterwards and upload it to the virtual system. And I think our advantage is a PCO that we're able to connect the dots, because you need somebody that has an overall view, the speakers, the clients, the sponsor, and everything. So you have to connect the dots very well. So could be a PCO or an association manager or others. And I'm going to run quickly on the solution for this specific event. Of course, we had the virtual lobby, and as you can see below, the plenary session. We created a video, a sneak peek of the platform just before we launched, so people will get used to the idea and how do I log in and so forth. You see the live sessions. We had the Meet the Expert session. We had the virtual exhibition. You can see the conference calendar, of course, and I'm going to run quickly. We had the ePoster sessions, and we have the ePosters platform, sponsored symposia area, and so forth. And the results were fantastic for us, because this, again, was a first meeting. We had 1,100 people registered, paying, by the way, full amount, and I'll speak about pricing of virtual event later on. We had about 250 pre-recorded sessions. We had 14 live sessions, which is we're now realizing we need much more, and I'll again touch upon this a little bit later. We had 22 exhibitors, and I think we were very happy. The first day we had about more than 90% people logged in to the platform and participated in the first session. By the way, one of the things we have learned is that the first day is the peak day. So with every conference we did until now, the first day was the peak day, because everybody's super interested to see the platform, to see what we can offer. And afterwards, of course, they can go whenever it's more convenient to them and see the on-demand session. So keep in mind, first day, very important. Make sure you have the best content on the first day. Of course, this was the first one. It created a huge buzz on social media with a lot of great comments, people posting, sitting in front of our computer, what they can do, what are they eating when they're seeing the sessions, and we got a great attraction over social media. Okay, so that was the first meeting already in April. But then came May and July, and we had more virtual meeting coming on, and we got better and better. So you see different pictures from different virtual events we did. You see this on the top left, Virtual Educa, by the way, in Spanish, that attracted 20,000 registered people to the actual what you see in the virtual lobby, and about 30,000 more that were able to see some of the session for free on YouTube or on the social channels. So we had 54,000 people all in all. But we had on the top right, you see the European Society of Neuroscience, you see the European Psychology, you see International Papillomavirus Society. So numbers are piled up, and then August came, and we had more meetings. You see the numbers, thousands of people, and people are getting used to the virtual space. Now, I think what we need to realize when we plan virtual meeting is, at least for now, maybe next year it will be different, for the majority of the stakeholders, it's their first experience. And it is our job to, what I call, educate the market. When I worked in the startup that was regarding electric cars, that was more than 10 years ago, and electric cars was not common at all. And people didn't understand, why do I have, I have a car running on regular gas, on fuel, and it's super convenient. Why do I have to move electric? So now we all understand why we need to go virtually, but still it's our job to educate the market, to educate the delegate, to educate the speaker and the industry. And when I say delegates, so how do we actually educate the delegate? For the majority of them, it's the first experience. So they don't know what to expect. And it goes back also to the communication plans that I shared in the beginning. We have to show them what they can actually do in the platform, how to use it, right? How to get noticed, especially if I'm a poster presenter or I'm not a keynote speaker, so how do I get noticed? And I'm gonna change quickly my share and show you a few examples. So you see here, we created a lot of short video. How do I enter the virtual platform? How do I navigate through the lobby? And all of 30 seconds video, 40-second videos, how to do. Or how do I watch a live session? Which for me, it looks like obvious, but it wasn't obvious at all. So it can be either video or actually screenshots with a very clear FAQ page. Okay, here, this is where I see the scientific program. Here, I click here, and there, and so forth. And there's a long, how do I watch a live session, and so forth. So it's very important to educate the delegates how to get the most out of the event. And going back to the presentation. So that's one thing. The second one is speakers. As I mentioned earlier, most of the speakers don't feel very confident speaking to a screen. When they are used to, for 20 years, they're stand on the podium, see the audience, know how to interact with them, which is now very difficult. So we need to obviously help them with recording guidelines, and how do I set the right lighting, the right audio, but also how do I interact with the audience? And we work a lot with our association, with our clients, and with our speakers about how do we engage with the audience. Hopefully we can engage in the end of the session with live Q&A. How do I do voting? How do I do a social events on a virtual platform? So that's educating also the speakers. And we're actually now introducing some presentation skill or virtual presentation skill sessions that we're gonna give them either complimentary or offer them a full course about a presentation skill in the virtual space. And industry, as I mentioned, this is one of the key success factors for the virtual event. One of the main challenges of the exhibitors is that, again, they are used to stand next to their booth and see the traffic, see the people. Now, in the virtual space, they might have traffic, they might have people virtually standing in the booth, but they can't see it. And the mindset need to change completely from something that is reactive to proactive. They need to come to the virtual platform and be proactive, approach the delegates. There's always a kind of networking opportunity, chat groups and so forth, introduce themselves. Go one by one, be proactive, think different. We do a lot of raffles to encourage delegates to go to the exhibition. give the exhibition a lot of different tools that they can interact with the delegates. How do we, as organizer, also encourage people to go to visit the booth? For example, a scavenger hunt, or a game that they need to look for something in the exhibition, or even a funny bingo game that the numbers they only get if they visit and interact with a sponsor or with an exhibitor. And of course, regardless again to COVID-19, a lot of investment from sponsors need to go and shift their money to education. So make sure they have their symposia, make sure they have their session, their speakers, and through that, educate about their new products, new development, new research. If they're gonna be happy, they're gonna continue to support the association, because we don't know again when we can come back to in-person meeting, hopefully as soon as possible, but you know, the virtual space is here to stay, at least for now. I wanted to speak a little bit about the program. You know, there's the, this is a screenshot of the old way that we see the program, right? There's dates, there's session halls, there's timing, regular, classical program of an event. Again, we need to think differently. Maybe this is how a program should look. Here, this is the list of the live session. This is what is currently live. This is what is planned to be live. And this is on demand by topics, because as you can see here, you see the color code. So the color code is different, is different session formats or different topics. You know, it makes no sense in a virtual space that you can go on demand and see the sessions whenever, on every device, whenever you want. So why don't we rethink, resort it, live session and on demand or recorded session by topic, by theme, and so forth. So that's thinking completely different about the format. And live, we realized actually, so in the beginning we thought that we have to ensure that the majority of the session will be pre-recorded, because we were concerned about the risk, about, you know, internet connection, will it work, live streaming. So at least in the beginning, 90% of the overall session were pre-recorded, and we had a little bit live. And now we realizing it has to be the other way around. People are looking for a real experience, like we're doing now. This is what we call pure life, right? It is also recorded and you can watch it afterwards, but this is pure life. And we are now shifting in making sure that the majority of the program is live, but there is also on-demand session. And when I say live, there's two types of lives. One is pure live like we're doing now, and the other one is pre-recorded with live Q&A. So we pre-record the presentation in advance with the speaker, again, just to be on the safe side. We stream it at the dedicated slot and time as it was live. And then all the speakers are joining together, pure live, for a live Q&A session, which it's very successful. And it's also very important to have a very good moderator like we have today, or a chairperson that is used or know how to deal with the virtual space, know how to interact with the delegates either through a text chat or microphone. Very important, it's a key success factor for a session. So that's the live part. Here you can see also a very interesting picture from Virtual Educa that we had a month ago. This is a session like you're doing today that is also available in different languages, but we also had sign language translation. So there's a lot of things you can do in the online world that you couldn't have done in person, in a venue, in a regular venue. What about pricing? That's the big questions that a lot of people are asking me. How do we price a virtual meeting? Do we stay with the regular fees? Does it worth the same amount of money? Do we reduce? How much? 60%, 40%, 20%? Should we give it for free? Or we might do a combined solution, give some of the session for free, some pay-per-view or something like that. My take on this is, first of all, especially when it comes to association meeting and medical meetings, is that it can't be free because, I mean, content has value. So you have to pay something. It could be a reduced fee, could be a significant reduced fee. It can't be the regular fee because the experience is different and you're not catering the same things in the in-person world and what we can offer and the networking opportunity that you can have in an in-person meeting is different. So I would say between reduced, and again, it depends how quality is your content, between combined. So give the people a little bit of the taste, give them some free sessions, and then the rest, if they want to have it, then they have to pay for full access. Of course, have all the content, the on-demand or the recorded content available for additional few months. That's a big plus that we can have in a virtual space. Online technical support. Again, we realized very quickly that people have troubles issue, not only technical, but also understanding where to find what. So for all our meeting, we are implementing like a chat bot, but not a bot like an AI bot, but in a real person. We have a team of people that are answering, real people behind the bot or behind the chat. And people are asking simple question, or where do I find this in this session, or I can't find this in poster, or I have audio issues. So we actually implemented a really easy chatbot that you can quickly share a screenshot and the person can share his screen. So it's really easy and quick to solve any technical issues or question delegates has. And it improves the user experience. So that's very important that you have people supporting your virtual meeting. And social media, it became a main communication channel. We all know that in in-person events, Twitter is the king, and we all share on Instagram and Facebook, but it's even gotten a higher impact on virtual, because I'm anyhow sitting in front of my desktop or iPad and I have my phones in my hand, so multi-screen. So it's a great opportunity to communicate with other delegates on social media, and we need to leverage this. So how do we do that? We of course encourage people to post. We do contests. We give prizes, and this is a very good example about. We created a hashtag, as you can see, fans at home, where fans is the acronym of the event, and we added at home. So we asked people to post how they are actually watching the video, and it got a huge. We got hundreds and thousands of posts, and you know, this is some of the highlights that you can see. You see a lot of pets. So like people have pets, so they join them to see the sessions. People are promoting their own session, the poster session. People are showing what they're eating. So you see, let's do this, and they share their breakfast, as you see. Or people are connecting to the TV at the living room. Multi-screen, you see on the top left, people are viewing three things in one go. So they see the poster session, they see the lobby, and they see the conference calendar to plan their virtual experience. That's again, a great way. And by the way, interesting enough, you see here on the right, since the virtual lobby, there's kind of, it's a moving videos, the avatar, it became a huge discussion over social media, and people invented names to the avatars that you see on the screen. Oh, this is Pedro, he came from that country, and they started a whole discussion about the avatars on the virtual lobby, which was really, really, really funny. So social media, crucial channel to work with and leverage this to increase the brand exposure of your event. Now, this is all nice, this is virtual, but I mean, we all know the value of in-person meeting, and we all want to come back really quickly to the in-person meeting. In IAPCO, we recently published an advocacy guide for PCO around the world, how to go and advocate to government the return of the business events. This is a result of also, some of you probably heard the GIMIC manifesto, global manifesto of returning to business events. And our job is to help government differentiate between raw concert to meet business events, like I shared yesterday, which is exhibition and conferences and meetings, because we know how important this can be for the economic recovery. And we also know that we are responsible enough to do it in a safe environment and make sure that we maintain healthy, health instructions to our employees, to our delegates, and of course to the clients. So it's important that we work in parallel on the virtual world, but also how we come back to the in-person. And how do we come back actually to the in-person meeting? Hybrid is maybe a buzzword, or maybe it was a buzzword, but of course everything was accelerated because of the COVID-19, because of the pandemic. And when I speak about hybrid event, I think there's 4 domains. Of course, the first is the traditional one, right? We're gonna be in a venue. We're gonna be coming back to an in-person meeting that will have delegates on site. Either it's going to be 20%, 40%, or 80%, or 100% of the people we have anticipated. Then we're going to have maybe hubs. So people that maybe cannot travel but still want to meet in their own country or in their own city. So they will gather together and probably combine a local program with the international program or the core program that comes from the traditional venue. So it's going to be kind of a combined program. So we're going to see people here, people on different hubs, and in addition, the virtual space that we have just mentioned. So the potential is huge. The potential is, if we're going to have even 80% of the people we used to have in an in-person meeting, we can add to this 50, 60, 80 more %, so we can actually double or triple the number of people that can enjoy our meetings because of travel restrictions, because of people that will be concerned, because of the economic situation and so forth. But it gives us opportunity to expose our meeting to more people and even more speakers that we couldn't have brought in previous time. But it's not going to end there. This is what we call continued education. So again, what we used to be called as a conference, a meeting that is educational, it will actually not end. It will be year-round in a way. So we might see more webinars coming up, more e-learning platform, when it all comes to what we started, how do we facilitate education. So when we look at this 4 domains, this is how I see the future. We're going to go back to in-person. We got the additional hubs plus the people that will join virtually. But the conference will not end in those 3 or 4 days. It will continue until the next meeting as a continuous education. And I will just end this with, I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. And I enjoy hearing his webinars and LinkedIn posts and his books. And I always say, and this is something I also say to my clients, I say to my employees, we have to try, we have to experiment. Even if you fail, I mean, especially in the virtual, okay, something didn't happen, the session didn't end up well, fine, we learned, next time we're gonna be better, because otherwise we won't be able to change back the world. So with that, I will end, and I will leave a lot of time for Q&A, because I know there's a lot of questions already were sent yesterday. So so thank you for the patience of listening to me. I hope I didn't speak too fast, because I tend to run, but I wanted to give enough time for interaction, which is important in a virtual meeting.
Muchas gracias, Ori. Thank you so very much. We do have ample time, so we're very happy. There's few questions that are already put for you on the chat that you can see. But while we get there, you were asking me at the very beginning, if there is time, you wanted to show something live. You rather do questions first and then.
I can. Yeah, sure. Let me share quickly. Yes. So.
Quiere enseñarles algo en vivo y le dije que con mucho gusto lo hiciera. Go ahead.
So I wanted to show you actually a real live platform. This is EPA, the European Psychiatry. So you see those people that people have gave them name. But again, this is the virtual lobby. I mean, I hope that everybody had already experience of dealing with a virtual meeting. But you have a section to the live session. Of course, this Congress already ended, so we can't see a lot live events. But we have a product theater that is dedicated to the industry. Again, a place that you can give them space for education. So you see it's still on demand, and you can see Takeda, Angelini, Jensen, all those sponsors giving education, which is very important. And of course, not less important is the exhibition. And with the exhibition, and in this platform, you can allow the exhibitors actually to see who is currently in their booth, which is, again, different. Not all the platform allows that. And then they need to be very proactive, as I mentioned, and go start chatting with the people. And there's a chat. I'm not going to go into all the details. So there's a chat option to start talking with people. But again, companies need to understand that this is the place to share. So you see this company, for example, shared only 2 documents, but they could have shared much, much more videos, content. Let's see this one here. This is a better example. They have at least 2 videos and 2 brochures. I have my virtual bag that I can share, that I can save stuff on my bag, and then afterwards email this to me. Social media links and so forth. Of course, everything is clickable, and you can share maximum information. So this is one. I did wanted to show you maybe. Yeah. So this is another platform. Again, different. You can actually promote some of the sponsors from those signs. So if I click on this one, I will go directly to their booth. But things that are a bit different and taking us out of the regular education is, for example, wellness. So we have created for this conference a few videos that we recorded especially to get people out of their regular, we sit all day in front of our computer. So we recorded some trainers, and we did a wake-up call, so just stretching in the morning, Pilates workshop, stretching in between sessions. So people have, I don't know if you can hear.
Hello everyone, welcome to our virtual meeting. We are here to make sure you gain the full virtual experience. We understand that sitting and watching the sessions may require you to stretch, warm up, and do some exercise to keep healthy and well. We encourage you to start your day with a good warm-up and finish with stretching your body. You can also do it in between sessions.
Yeah.
We wish you a great day.
Okay, we don't have to see the entire video, but again, they are approaching a people that understand, this is a virtual meeting, the virtual space, but we want to encourage you to still interact. As you can see, you can also have a press room that is closed for people. Again, open theater to sponsor, the live auditorium, and so forth. So it's endless options, endless opportunity of what you can do in the virtual world.
Oh, fantastic. Ori, we have various questions, and we can go from macro to practical. Okay. But I will do, if you allow me, a little bit of Spanglish for the benefit of our audience. Sure. One of the biggest challenges in our region is this idea of, you mentioned pricing, and I want to go hit it immediately because 800 people and plus are listening, and we're here to create experiences, but we're here to make money. And the question specifically is, with so many opportunities that are for free, and we understand the need for that, how, in your opinion, how do we convince participants to pay for an event, to pay partially. Amigos, sabemos la frustración de muchos con los precios. Tenemos tantas ofertas gratuitas que le estamos preguntando a Ori, oye, danos ideas de qué hacemos para que la gente pague. What do we do for people to pay, Ori? Because content is king.
Yeah, I agree. So again, I think that content has value. I truly believe it's true that within our industry currently, there's a lot of content out there and webinars and another webinar and for free, which is great because, I mean, one of the positive things that, which is a side note, one of the positive things that came out of this pandemic is that the entire industry came together very closely and we support one another, right? And we help one another. And part of it is we're sharing knowledge. And of course, I shared everything I have learned so far, which is different from a corporate event or an association event. There, the content is educational for their professional practice, which especially in the medical world is crucial. So if you ask a doctor or an engineer or an IT developer in cybersecurity, if the content that he will learn, it will come from a YouTube kind of free, somebody posted a video, or it will come from keynote speakers, you know, experts in their field, KOLs, and so forth. So we need to ensure that we have a very good content. And again, content has value. Now, again, when you look at the overall budget of a conference, okay, so you don't have to pay for venue. The AV expenses are much lower. You have much less, you know, expenses on the physical space, and you can maybe invest more in content. So invest more in content, and then ask people to pay. How much to pay? It really depends. If you're an association that want to give an advantage to your members, give them an incentive as members. Maybe you can actually recruit new members. Give a lower fee to a student, to a resident. But if you're a physician, if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, if you're working in a pharmaceutical, if you're a corporate, then you know what, you can pay. I'm all for it. And if you're not paying, you're missing.
No, I'm so happy that you mentioned the importance of content, because creating digital and virtual and hybrid experiences it has elevated our interest in the content. So when planning an event, you really have to be careful in how do you curate, cómo curamos los temas para que logremos que sean lo más comprometedores a la audiencia, so that the themes are engaging. Bringing that topic of pricing, and I'm referring now, you are a global citizen and Kenneth is an international corporation. Let's bring it to our region, Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say the question for you in English and I will translate to Spanish, okay, because the words have a different meaning. Okay. The concept of sponsorships. The money that we put to secure an event, where do we put the money now? Do we put it in creating experiences because now everything is virtual and digital? Or do we put the money into what the client is asking as far as paying for, you know, providing incentives for some of the expenses? La pregunta, amigos, es las subvenciones de las convenciones y de los congresos y de los eventos para Latinoamérica. ¿Qué opina Ori? ¿Le ponemos plata en la subvención en crear experiencias o le ponemos plata a pagar lo que está costando la experiencia digital? I just translated, Ori. Words of wisdom, where to put the sponsorship dollars?
Yeah, so it really depends on the profession of the Congress. I can tell you that we've done a survey to hundreds of HCP, healthcare professionals, and asked them how to choose the virtual, and this is something we're gonna publish, so you get the first highlight from the survey because we haven't published it yet. It's hot from the oven, as I say, and 90% will choose the virtual, or the first priority for them will be the content. So if you look at the experience, either it's networking opportunity, gamification, it gets a lower priority when choosing an event. So I would put it, I mean, I would say two things. I would put it in the content, but there's also opportunity to provide good experience and gamification and facilitate networking with a low investment.
Perfect. So
that's it.
The opportunity is to strike the right balance between the content that is going to bring people to enjoy, but the experience throughout. So for example, we are here in a wonderful community of over 250 convention and visitors bureaus, destinations organizations, DMOs, and destinations are struggling. How much do I show my destination? So when you mention the experience and gamification, perhaps all that experience goes around knowing that destination even though you're not there and still have a very good content. Amigos, la idea es vendemos el destino a través de la gamificación y el alineamiento de la experiencia, pero que el contenido sea el king. Ori?
Yes, it's a very, very, very good point because I did want to mention it. So thank you for reminding me.
We are a good team. We are a good team.
Because for every virtual meeting, we wanted to acknowledge the original destination that the meeting was supposed to happen. We approach every convention bureau worldwide that the meeting was supposed to happen and ask, you know what, let's do something together because we want to acknowledge we were supposed to be in this city or in that city. We still want to bring some of the experience. So give us some kind of a virtual tour in your city, in your museum. Give us some of the local flavors because we're still going to have an opening ceremony, an open session, even if it's virtually. Bring something from the local culture. Help us to, raise the awareness to the destination. I think it's highly important. I think we need to work together with the convention bureaus and the destination to bring this experience to the virtual world. Again, because we're going to come back. And we come back, so we want to remember why we need to come back.
Can you hear me well, Ori?
Yeah, it was frozen for a second.
Okay, perfect. In line with that, few questions in different, this is amazing, different chats, different platforms, we are learning. You mentioned hybrid events and the fact that hybrid events are not only a combination of virtual and physical, but your thought on that 4 domains and a conference for all year, right? So the question that we have for you, do you see towards the future more conferences creating experiences throughout the year? That's one. And the segue is everything gonna go online for you? Or talk to us about face-to-face. Amigos, yo sé que la pregunta es, ¿nos vamos online para todo o tenemos face-to-face? Ori, how do you see this?
No, for me, the answer is very clear. I mean, I'm eager to fly again. I'm eager to travel. There's no replacement for an in-person meeting. But having said that, there's new opportunities with the virtual world. When I started working in this event industry, 7-8 years ago, I remember there was a session that I've heard from the CEO of ESC, which is the European Society of Cardiology, which is the biggest event in Europe. They attract 35,000 people in a congress, right? And she said at that time that they are, of course, capturing all the content, what we call webcasting, and giving it for free. Everybody who wants to see it can log in. You're going to create a username and password, and they call it the ESC 365. That was a few years ago. And then people ask her, wait, but if you give all the content for free, wouldn't this reduce your numbers in the in-person meeting? And she said, on the contrary, what happened is that from the statistic, they've seen people from emerging countries or places that they usually don't come to the meeting start reviewing the content. They review the content, they realize, oh, that's good, but I have to have also the in-person experience. So that they actually had them grow the in-person numbers. And I think that will be very similar. We will have people that usually cannot travel or didn't plan to travel or can't travel this year to still see the content, and it will maintain high brand, what we call in the marketing world, we call it top of mind. So the brand awareness, it's very important. But they will come, maybe not this year, so they will come next year.
Okay, your thought is continue with the combination, and to draw a bigger audience and new clients to join in for the events. Así que él lo que nos recomienda es face to face se quedan, pero sigamos creando las experiencias y todos locos por volvernos a poner en el avión. Let's go back to more, again, to technical. You made a very good expose on how important it is. A PCO is the overall orchestrator of the event, but in this new world, you need a moderator that keeps people engaged, that if someone is looking at the questions, but you also need a techie guru, you need a genius, an Einstein behind you. So the question is, how to make all different systems, the virtual, the fair, the scientific program, the streaming, to work together in order to have the perfect outcome for the participation. So you at Kenneth, are you like doing it all, or you are like co-creating a new space? What are you doing?
Okay, so as I mentioned, choosing the system. Yeah, I mean, we are fortunate to have a very strong IT team in-house that were able, you know, to quickly adapt to the new world. They're also tech savvy and they understand. But still, we need to learn, and we learn, you know, throughout doing the meetings. So again, it depends on your need. And you won't find one system that gives you a solution for everything you need. But you need to ensure that, you know, we are using, you know, Zoom is not for example, Zoom is not a solution for a virtual meeting. It's something for team meeting, one-on-one meeting, or a tool for speakers like us before the actual streaming that we use through streaming services. So there's a lot of streaming services out there, and there are also a lot of things to learn on online world. But then you can decide either you want to be a middleman in a way. Middleman meaning, okay, I'll take a platform with a full service. Okay, I'm here and I'm dealing with the association that deals with the program. I deal with the sponsors, and I'm the middleman working with the tech platform. That's one way you go about. The other way you go about, you decide not all companies can do that. There's a lot of investment to create their own platform. So I think that the first stage is be a middleman, learn, and then start creating your own.
La que seamos intermediarios y creamos lo nuestro. I believe you love sports. I love to read. So I'm a big fan of the Three Musketeers and D'Artagnan. And to me, if this pandemic has taught us something in this industry, is that to create hybrid events, you need Three Musketeers and one D'Artagnan, so that you can put it all together. Así que los Tres Mosqueteros y D'Artagnan para montar eventos híbridos. Ori, we have Silvana who would like to pose a question to you.
Yep.
Silvana, sabemos que tienes una pregunta. Bienvenida.
Bueno,
¿Estás por ahí?
muchísimas gracias por tu presentación, Ori, impecable, y la verdad que me sentí durante toda la presentación muy identificada porque desde la asociación nos tocó dar organizar este evento titánico de alguna manera en muy poco tiempo, que esto es otra de las nuevas tendencias que observamos en el ámbito de la virtualidad, que tiene la posibilidad de organizarse en menor tiempo que los eventos presenciales. Y acá hago 2 o 3 consultas. Respecto de los participantes de los eventos virtuales, ¿considerás que es más permisivo el participante de un evento virtual que el de un evento presencial en cuanto a aceptar algunos temas vinculados a los inconvenientes técnicos? Eso por un lado. Y por otro lado, consultarte respecto de que si bien el rol del PCO se convierte en un intermediario, al momento de la monetización del evento, ¿sí? Los ingresos son muchos, las plataformas virtuales son más accesibles o más económicas, pero también los ingresos son mucho menores. Vemos congresos de cardiología o de psiquiatría en costos de $15 aproximadamente, $20 se están cobrando, versus $200, $300 que salían antes las versiones presenciales. Eso también reduce la monetización en cuanto a la comercialización. Un poco hablaron de presupuesto, pero es muy importante este tema porque a la hora de dejar un ROI, el evento virtual, el ROI es mucho menor que lo que dejaba el evento presencial, además del impacto económico en el destino. No sé si fui muy extensa, Ana, y si no enseguida refuerzo un poquito las preguntas.
No, tranquila, yo no creo que Ori, you didn't hear this in Spanish, did you?
I did hear it in Spanish.
No, but you did. I'm sorry, you didn't hear in English. So I'm having a poetic license, okay, to shorten the question so that I can pose it to you.
Okay.
All this virtual situation and hybrid has brought more expenses. So rather than charging for a registration fee of $200, now we're witnessing where people are paying, you know, $20 or paying less. So the monetization for the organizer is such of a lower stream. Your thoughts on that? And I would add the following: since this is the Latin American Association of CVB'S, should CVB'S and governments be involved in supporting more the creation of events so that the stakeholders locally can still make money? I don't mean to answer your question. I'm just putting it in the perspective of a bureau and government colleagues who are here. And Ori, be candid. You and I know our governments have money when they want to invest. And if there is one industry that can catapult us out of this pandemic, it's meetings and events through bureaus. Your thoughts?
Oh, that's a big question. I mean,
Be candid, don't worry.
No, I'm going back. Let's start with government. I mean, convention bureaus and tourist organizations need to work with the government because we all understand the economic impact that meetings brings to the destination. We all know that, but not only the money and it's also about the legacy, about bringing, building community, about bringing people together. So there's a lot of added values of having meeting together. And we need to advocate, we here in my country and you in your country and everybody in their country, of course, to advocate the importance of bringing people together again. So of course, and again, going back to that, the fact that we all are very responsible to do it in a safe manner, in a safe environment, to protect the people. So that's one thing. And in order to stay relevant, and in order to mitigate this time until we go back in person, those government need also to invest in their other PCOs, convention bureaus, DMC, in their destinations. So we'll have a quick recovery. So once we can travel again, it won't take us a year to get organized. We will be able to quickly react, respond, and accommodate people. And to do that, I think that all the destination and government and convention bureau need to be involved in the virtual space. Because I'm a marketing person. Again, I'm going back, top of mind, brand awareness. You have to be there. You have to be present. Again, because if you're going to collaborate with the different stakeholders, either associations or PCOs, and support in a way the virtual space, they will come back and return a favor, I would say. You will be on their first priority to come back to the destination. So that's one point. And of course, how much the people invest, in Latin America, I know the registration fees, you said $200, now it's $100. Yes, but it's true. It will help us keep what I call the head above water for now. And of course, you're gonna have probably less expenses. So, I mean, this is what we have for now, and we'll have to, to get over this. Oh, my light is out. Get over this.
We're running.
I didn't move enough in the room.
Tranquilo means relax. We're running out of time, and there's a session now. So I think they're making news to you. You know what? We still have questions, Ori. So I believe this brings us to a wonderful opportunity for a second opportunity. Silvana, se nos está acabando el tiempo. No queremos ser irrespetuosos con los colegas. Ori, we thank you so much for your wisdom and for sharing with us. I will say these last words of the water, keep the head above the water in Spanish. Ori nos recomienda un par de cosas. No jamás olvidemos que las conferencias son todo el año, que los destinos y los buros tienen que trabajar con los OPCs, que los gobiernos nos tienen que ver como buena inversión, ayudar a la cadena de valor para mantener nuestras cabezas por encima del agua. Y nos despedimos con una frase que comentó Ori, del gran escritor Simon Sinek: una idea que no haces se queda en idea. Trátalo, no importa, lo importante es que salgamos a la calle a hacer reuniones. Right, Ori? The important thing is to go out there and try ideas.
Yep.
Virtual events are not here forever. They will never replace face-to-face and the value of visiting destinations. Amigos, un placer acompañarles hoy. From our hearts to your heart, Ori, our gratefulness.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, it was a pleasure.
Lo mismo, Ori, muchas gracias, ha sido un gusto escucharte y seguir escuchando esto que tenemos que trabajar cada uno en nuestras organizaciones, en nuestras empresas, que tenemos que ser flexibles y tenemos que tomar estas nuevas tecnologías como herramientas y oportunidades, no desafiarlas o no resistirlas, porque realmente la resistencia solo va a generarnos un shock traumático en nuestra carrera profesional. Por lo tanto, vamos por estas nuevas tecnologías como PCOs, adaptémonos, seamos flexibles, tomémoslas y usémoslas a nuestro favor y sigamos buscando estas herramientas para poder desarrollar eventos presenciales en nuestros destinos, reactivando nuestras economías y reactivando nuestros destinos. Gracias, Ori, un gusto haberte tenido junto a nosotros y no se muevan, tenemos en 5 minutitos más, si no me equivoco, el próximo panel de COCAL. Este panel de COCAL que nos va a hablar qué hacemos con nuestros bidding books ahora, en este nuevo contexto de normalidad. ¿Cómo los rearmamos? ¿Cómo van a ser las conectividades? ¿Cómo van a ser, supongo, el alojamiento, la capacidad hotelera en este tiempo entre que llegue la vacuna y nosotros podamos, nuestros destinos, volver a llevarlos al nivel de ocupación del 2019? Muchas gracias, no se lo pierdan, en un minuto seguimos con el panel de COCAL. Muchas gracias. Gracias, Ori. Muchas gracias.
Luego.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you.